Hello, moms. Well, today is our last day of this season's Gather Groups. But before I launch into all that's coming next, I really just want to stop and talk for a minute about something that's happening in our current season that we're in. Because truth be told, me especially, I can get so jazzed about the upcoming next things that are going on that if we're not careful, we can miss an opportunity to experience intimacy with God. I want to read to you from Psalms 143 this morning, 143 verse 5. And it says this: I remember the days of long ago. I meditate on all your works and consider what your hands have done. We're going to talk about remembering and meditating and considering on what God has done. The title of my talk today, if I would give it a title, would be Intentional Gratitude. And the reason why I want to talk about this is because I think sometimes we forget that gratitude is worship, and there's so much power in gratitude. And like I said earlier, we can get so excited about the things coming next that if we don't stop and take a minute to thank God for what He's done in our lives, in our seasons, in our situations, we miss an opportunity of worship. We miss an opportunity of intimacy with Him. And that's why I want to talk about that today. You know, it honors God when we have gratitude. It blesses Him. And it just blesses Him when we realize and we take time to admit all good things come from Him. James 1:17 says that exact same thing. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. Every good thing comes from our heavenly Father. And it's important and valuable that we stop and think about those good things. And you know, like every parent on the planet, it blesses him to be thanked and appreciated, right? I mean, I'm a parent, it blesses me, you're a parent, it blesses you when you get thanked and appreciated. So I have a question for you. Do any of you have picky eaters? You know, my sweet little Ellie Grace, who's now 7, can maybe fit into that category, because I've noticed every time that I'm making something new or I'm making a new shake or she's helping me like put some food together, if she sees an ingredient that she doesn't like, she will already say, I'm not gonna like this, Mom. And I'm like, what? I mean, this literally just happened 2 weeks ago when we were making her birthday cake. And she wanted to help me make it, right? So we're making it and we're doing the whole deal. Like we got everything. We're doing it Montessori style. I mean, she's involved and it's great. It's so much fun until we get to the applesauce. And I give her the applesauce and she puts the applesauce and she puts it into the bowl and she starts looking at it and says, Mom, this looks gross. She said, I'm not gonna like this. And now I'm like, really? Because this is your birthday cake and I am making it homemade. I mean, it's all natural. It's all organic. It has every good, healthy ingredient and it has some sugar in it too. Like this is a big deal in our family, right? And I'm thinking, how can you not like it, for Pete's sake? Like, don't just say that before you've tasted it. To be honest, I really did have a little feeling, a little twinge in my heart. Like, come on, like I've spent a lot of work planning this out for you. And so in my nice motherly tone, I said to Elizabeth, sweetheart, we need to have a conversation about gratitude. So I taught her that, you know, even if you think you won't like something, you don't say that, especially to the person who's slaving over the thing for you. Like just go with the flow, right? Okay, so anyway, we had this little moment and I talked about this and, you know, I think back and did she like the cake? I mean, she did eat all of the frosting off of it and I think she did take a couple of bites. But regardless, when our children appreciate our food, I mean, think about that. When your children have appreciated your food before, how does it make you feel? It makes you feel good. It makes you feel blessed. Well, we as God's children, when we appreciate the things that He's given us, it honors Him and it blesses Him as well. Our family has a tradition every birthday, and I love this tradition so much. We all sit around the table, it's a birthday meal, and we go around one by one by one, and we tell something that we love and appreciate about the person who's having the birthday. And we'll go around the table a couple of times. And we have seen so many beautiful moments in that time. I mean, not everybody loves to be put on the spot in our family. They're not all extroverts like I am, that is like, sure, I'll step into the middle, right? Some of them like to be in the background. But even my not extroverted, introverted daughter, Ellie, who likes to be in the background and doesn't like to be the center of attention. This year for her birthday, when we were going around the table, she didn't even wait to see who the next person was to speak. She started calling us out. She's like, Dad, you're next. Okay, Grandma, you're next. I'm like, nobody does this. This is breaking tradition, but I loved it because it showed that she wanted to hear those things. It blessed her. And part of our family has been shaped by what we have spoken over each other and appreciated about each other during those times. It's been so beautiful. You know, we've had a beautiful season of Moms Group this past year, and we've had incredible speakers. We've had some really authentic interviews. We've had real conversations in our groups, great, powerful prayer time. There's been great encouragement and support. And I know that God has been moving through these groups, and it's just so important to stop and meditate just for a moment about what he has done. During discussion time, you guys, I am going to have you talk about this. So start thinking, what do you want to talk about? What do you want to share about some of the good things that have happened in group this year? How has God blessed you? How have you been encouraged? How have you felt loved? How have you felt supported? How have you supported others during this time? You know, our mission for Substance Moms is that every mom would grow deeper in relationship with each other, and they would grow deeper in relationship with Jesus. That is our heart for why we do these groups. And we just want to create an environment for you to experience that. You know, friendship does take time, doesn't it? But I pray over the past months that you guys have had time together. If you continue to do the work, even moving into summer, even if groups change a little bit, but as you've done some work, and if you continue to do the work, I believe that God's going to do some beautiful, moving work in your lives, in your kids' lives, and in your relationships, even more than you've had already. So let's thank God for what he's done, and let's believe God for more moving forward. As this is the final talk for the season for Substance Moms, at least for our YouTube channel here, I just want to encourage you to start thinking about what the summer is going to be like for you. How are you going to keep moving forward in relationships? I think sometimes, at least for me, summer comes and I'm like, summer, like I'm not doing anything. I'm out. And there are times where we do need to rest and we need to scale back. But you know what? Scaling back doesn't mean isolation, okay? Because schedules change, things change. Our kids aren't doing the same routine. We're not doing the same routine. And if we're not careful, all of a sudden, like we can be lonely in the summer. So I want you to think about ways that you can continue on in community, building community this summer. I have a couple of ideas for you. One is you could schedule a weekly or maybe bi-weekly play date or mom's night out with a bonfire in the backyard. Something that's easy, simple, stuff you would do anyway, but just make it official and regular and invite some people to do it with you. Another one is you could lead a mom's group, small group book study. So we have some book suggestions that we can give for you to dive into some book studies with a group of girlfriends and just go there. Or you could even go back to some of our YouTube videos that we have already recorded a year ago. And if you weren't in a gather group a year ago, you guys could continue in your current group that you're in or start something new with a couple of ladies and use some of those videos. Another one is maybe you just need to leave some room in your schedule for having your kids get into some kids' small groups, right? You need to make sure that you leave margin for that if that's a value of yours. Otherwise, summer books up and then all the subgroups come out and you're like, oh, I didn't think about getting my kids in this small group. Think about that. Think about that now. We may not know which ones are coming out yet, but you can leave space in your schedule for that. And then just one final idea is maybe you don't want to lead anything. Maybe you just want to show up somewhere. Show up in a new small group, but take one or two friends from your gather group and do it together. That can make it more fun, bringing friends that you already know into a new group as well. So there's lots of options going into summer, but I just want to encourage you, think about continuing community and how you want to do that. So in closing, I just want to talk a little bit about your leaders, because I just want to honor you, leaders of the Gather groups. You are the true leaders of your group. You guys have poured in. We've seen it as leaders who help support your leaders. Your leaders have poured out physically, emotionally, spiritually. They have done so much to create an environment for you to experience deeper relationships with each other and with God too. So I just want to encourage you, give your leaders some love today. I want to honor you, leaders. I honor you, I bless you, I respect you, and I thank you for doing what you did this year. Our community at Substance Church and as the body of Christ is better because of you and your heart of serving this season. So I leave you with that. Enjoy your discussion time, enjoy your summers, and I will see you again back here on video when our YouTube launches again next fall. Love you, friends.